And that is what we are talking about today is dreams.
And
Because
let us know. No, do not go any further. I would like to direct everyone's attention back to, I don't know, episode 3 of season 1, where Eric was like, don't ever tell me about your dreams. Blah, dreams are so boring. And I was like,
they are so boring. But I think in the context of what we're talking about today, we're going to make them not boring.
Okay, Mr. Exception.
I think that's our superpower. So I'm not apologizing. I still don't want to hear about your dreams unless you connect something to it that's like worthwhile. And that's my hope for today.
Okay. All right.
And I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. Okay. If you feel that way, leave it in the comments below. You like what I did there?
And if you feel like you always want to hear about dreams, also leave that in the comments below, because that is a legitimate way to feel.
Yeah, it might be more useful for us to know what you want us to talk about versus what you don't want us to talk about.
True.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So dreams. What's your weirdest recurring dream? Do you have recurring? I know you're a dreamer.
I have always been a really strong dreamer. I've gone through like bouts of also being like a lucid dreamer. But that takes work, and also like, or sometimes it happens, I don't know why. But anyway, as a kid, I used to have a very a like years long recurring dream, like at least 2 or 3 times a week, where I was sitting in a tractor trailer in the passenger seat. My dad was the driver of like an 18-wheeler, and we're on like a highway that is like cliffy. And so we're like hugging the edge of this mountain, and all of a sudden I look over and my dad's gone, and I have to hop into the driver's seat. But before I can, and I like can't reach the pedals, I can't drive. I just crash over the edge and sail into a McDonald's, and I wake up right before I hit the McDonald's.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I used to have a recurring dream. I believe that the second I started telling people about my recurring dream, it stopped like, recurring. Poof. Yeah.
Whoa. What was it?
So I was in my childhood home.
Okay.
And I would be in the attic. It was an unfinished attic. It's kind of like your storybook attic, right? We would hear a crash, like a creaking almost on the roof. And all of a sudden through the windows would come pouring in huge amounts of water, kind of like in the movie Titanic, when you'd see it like come down the hall and all that.
Yeah.
It would start there. And so I was always with somebody, and that would always change, but we would run downstairs to try to escape. But the house was like my childhood house, but it was like the fancy version.
Okay.
So it was like everything was like gilded, and like the banister was like much more ornate, and everything had much more like detail to it. And it had many more rooms, but they're all reminiscent of the rooms of the actual house I grew up in. And so it was like I knew the layout, but I didn't.
Yeah.
So there was constantly the struggle of being chased by this water, having to outrun it, but also kind of navigate my way through this labyrinth of rooms.
Yeah.
And we would always, at the end, we'd always get out, and I would be in my front yard, and we would look at the house, and it would just kind of collapse in water. And so the water would just gush out the sides, and it would just fall down, and the water would kind of like come up to our ankles and just kind of dissipate. And then I would wake up. Yeah. And so
was it always the same people in your dream?
No. Sometimes it was, but that was like the one variable, crazy, right?
Have you ever had?
Or was it boring? Like, okay, big deal.
No.